Yeah, hello.
Hello, sir. I think we can
Yeah.
start the session now, sir.
Oh, can start
Okay.
now? Okay. Okay.
Wait, sir. I'll just introduce you and then we can start, sir. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Chetna Pujari. Welcome back for the 5-day FDP on cybersecurity. Now, I'd like to invite Dr. Shankar M. Bakan, our Associate Professor at Kasturba Medical College. Dr. Shankar holds a MD in Forensic Medicine and Toxicology, Diploma in Cyber Law from Symbiosis Pune, and MBA in Healthcare Services from Sikkim Manipal University. He has completed certificate course in Bioethical Analytical Toxicology, Toxicology's Emergency, and MCCD and ICD. He is actively involved in scientific research in the field of forensic pathology and forensic medicines. Currently, he is the chairperson of KMC Student Research Forum and member of Research Cell of KMC. Dr. Shankar has more than 125 scientific papers published in national and international index journals. So now I would like to invite Dr. Shankar to take over the session.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, one and all. Just I'll share my screen. I hope my screen is visible, right?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Now it is visible.
Visible. Okay. Good afternoon once again. I know it's a very difficult uh, session post lunch, and invariably it happens to me that either I have to speak to hungry minds or the full stomachs. Okay, so this is a after post lunch full of food in the stomach. It's very difficult to keep audience awake. I'll try to keep you all awake through my presentation. If any questions in between, you can raise your hands and ask, or else at the end of the session we can discuss. Okay, so again, greetings from Kasturba Medical College, Manipal, Department of Forensic Medicine. I hope you all have heard about this incident which has happened in the history, right? Archimedes, you have heard about the name of Archimedes, right? So the story also you are aware of that. The issue was, how did he prove that the crown was made of gold or not? I am not going to details about the story because all of you are aware of that story. I suppose. For those who are not aware, just in a one or two sentences, I would like to tell that there was an issue that the goldsmith who had prepared this crown, he has not completely used gold. Instead of gold, he has used some other elements also. That was the issue, and the king got suspicious about that, and he asked Archimedes to find out whether it is completely made of gold or not. Then the Archimedes was the person who found out that. How did he prove that the crown was made of gold or not? That was the thing, and you all aware of that he found out that by examining the principles of water displacement and density, right? You are aware of that, right? Principles of water displacement and density. With this, he was able to prove that a crown was not made up of completely by the gold. Some other elements were also used to prepare the crown. That was the issue, as it was claimed that time. How did he prove that? That was the question, and why it is relevant for us for today's talk. Okay, this is one of the examples. When you look at this example, you may feel that yes, even the scientists in the sense, when we talk about the forensic scientist, we have only one thing in mind, that always they deal with a dead body, right? That is not true. All of us are scientists, and which the day when we contribute to the justice, then all of us becomes forensic scientists. That is one thing. Because of that, I have taken this example. And when you look at the other examples also, this incident the one of the infamous incident which has happened in 1997, August 31st. You all can recognize. She is a lady. I hope all of you can recognize, right? Princess Diana. Okay. How did she die? She died in a car accident, right? She died in a car accident in Paris. Okay, this is the Alma Tunnel underpass in Paris, where her car was met with an accident, and she died along with her boyfriend. Okay, and a driver. What was the issue in this case? Fine, it was an accident, but so many things came out. You can imagine 175 conspiracy theories were behind her death. 175, not one or two. And this is very common in nowadays, right? In the media, any sensational news is there means obviously there erupt number of stories behind that. So in the same thing has happened in Diana's death also, around 175 conspiracy theories. Fine, let the conspiracy theories be, but the thing is they were revolving around different issues related to the accident. Okay, one of the issue was related to the blood and DNA. The blood found at the crime scene was not at that of Diana. DNA were of different persons. Definitely, if they are belonging to different persons, means obviously some third party person was there at the crime scene of crime. So it gives something else for investigating agencies. Then when the autopsy was done, that time also it was delayed. Deliberately the autopsy was delayed. That was also one of the theory, because they wanted to hide the findings. That was another thing. Then accident analysis. When it came to the accident analysis, the bright flash of light was the reason behind this accident. Okay, that was the reason. Why from where this bright flash of light came? Because as she is chased by different media persons. Her car was chased by different media persons just to have a photograph of Diana with her boyfriend. They wanted to have that snap. Because of that, the multiple cars were following her. The one of the cars bright flash was on the driver. So because of that, the accident happened. This was also one of the theories. And another theory was both of them, Diana as well as her boyfriend, were not wearing the seat belt. Because of that, even if they were wearing the seat belt, they wouldn't have sustained so fatal injuries. That was another conspiracy. And because of that, fine, they were not wearing the seat belt means that's not a big thing. But the thing is, in the Western, in countries like Paris and all, it's mandatory to wear the seat belt. That's one thing. And second thing was, why were they wearing the seat belts? They know that the rules and regulations of Paris are well versed with Diana and others, but why she was not wearing the seat belt? Because it was said that the seat belt buckle was not functioning properly. That was the reason they gave. This is also one of the reason. We don't know whether it is true or false. And when transport to the hospital, deliberately it was delayed, it seems. If they had transported the body immediately after the accident, there were chances of Diana having survived. So that's also one of the theory. And embalming of the body. Immediately after her death, embalming is nothing but just the body has to be shifted from Paris to England, right? So because of that, to preserve the body, they do the embalming. So as per the law, as per the guidelines, the body need not be immediately embalmed after the autopsy, because any evidence materials you want to collect, you have to take before embalming, and they are not allowed for this also, it seems. This is also one of the conspiracy. Why I am talking about all these things? Look at that. Blood, DNA, some scientists are involved. Autopsy, forensic experts are involved. Accident analysis, the engineers like you all are involved. Okay, the seat belt, mechanical engineers or automobile engineers, bright flash of light, whether it was functioning or that was the reason for the accident and all. some experts are involved transporting the body. There some investigating agencies are involved involving of the body. Obviously the forensic expert is involved. So like that, everybody is involved in solving the crime. So all of us are scientists. So this is what is nothing but a forensic science. We'll come to that. And when you look at the recent case, Sushant Singh Rajput's case, all of you are following, I think. So many things came out. He committed suicide by hanging, and some things came out that he was murdered by somebody, and some claimed that yes, he was poisoned. His servants only are involved in that. His maid is involved in that. So many conspiracy theories came, and along with that, few days before his death, the ex-secretary of Sushant, Miss Disha Salian, was also died. She was also died unnatural death. The reason is she fell from the balcony where they were partying out. She fell from the balcony and died. Was she really fell down or somebody pushed her? This is a question, right? When you need to analyze this question, obviously you require the expert. So when you look at all these cases, and another case, the metro bridge collapse, this has happened in New Delhi. What is the reason for that? Forensic expert straight away cannot involve in this one, right? So you engineers are involved. So you, in a, one or the other way, you also contribute for the justice. So you are a part of forensic science. And recently, the more and more crimes are happening. Okay, more and more crimes like related to the money. That is what is called as the cyber crimes. The convent hacked Bangalore Hospital's bank account. Look at that. Divert around 17 lakhs after cloning SIM. He cloned a SIM. One functional official SIM was given to a person on Conman. He cloned the SIM, and through that SIM he transferred around 17 lakhs to unknown accounts which are belonging to his friends or relatives. So many days they were not knowing that from how this lapse happened and from where to where the amount of 17 lakhs is transferred. These things happen because the official number SIM was with the person who is a trustworthy. He never know that yes, this same number has been already cloned to a different SIM. These things happen. So in all these cases, the analysis part becomes a very important. How did it happen? When did it happen? How? Why did it happen? All these questions we need to answer. That is what is a part of forensic science. So with this, let us come to the introduction and look at some of the other things. Already we have discussed these things. A man's body is found at the base of the tall building. In Disha's case, I gave the same thing. Whether did the person fall? Did he just fall accidentally, or he jumped from the building, or was he pushed by somebody? Is it possible to find out? Because we get only dead body, right? Is it possible for us to find out that whether the person has fallen or jumped or he was pushed by somebody else? Definitely it is possible. Okay, we'll find out. As a forensic expert, it is our duty to find out all these things. And when two cars collide, spin up the road, who was at fault and how did the accident happen? This is very important for us. Most of the road traffic accidents we need to analyze. When we go to the crime scene, we have to analyze who is at fault. Whether the person, invariably two cars means fine, you will come to know. In a two-wheeler and a four-wheeler accidents, this many a times we need to find out who is at fault. Whether the person who has hit another car or another bike, did he try to apply the brake or not? He has applied. What is the proof that he has applied the brake? Can we get any proof at the scene of crime? We will definitely get it. That's why we need to be very cautious when we are analyzing at the crime scene. Then a woman ingested a lethal toxin. Was it an overdose? Fine, she has ingested a lethal toxin. Any substance which is taken in overdosage is a poison, is a toxin. Okay, but here she has congested a lethal toxin. Lethal means obviously it's a fatal, and has she taken it in overdosage, or was she poisoned given by somebody, or what substance caused her death? Did the same lethal toxin cause death or something else caused death? That's why in any suspicious case of death, we will not only go for toxicological analysis, we'll go for all other investigations. You never know. Sometimes the person might have ingested poison, but to make sure that the person should die, somebody may use some other modes of killing, like strangulation, smothering, etc. Okay, or sometimes the person himself might have committed or might have consumed some poison, then he thinks that he may not die, and then goes for another method of suicide, either hanging or drowning, something like that. So double ways could be there. That's why whenever we get a body recovered from the water, obviously we have to look into all these aspects to find out the real cause of death behind the incident. These are few just examples of many applications of physics and chemistry, right? Here now, for the forensic medicine, though he acts based on physics and chemistry, right? When a person has fallen from the building, fallen from the height, there we take the help of physics. Okay, he has just next to the wall, then he has probably not jumped or pushed. Okay, he pushed means little bit away from the base of the wall he falls. When he jumps, obviously little bit more away from the base of the wall. Like that we analyze. Of course there are formulations, there are some calculation we need to make to find out that. That's out of question here to discuss, but just remember that we are using the physics there, and when we are analyzing the chemicals, toxins and all, we are using the help of chemistry. So that's why the physics, chemistry and everything is involved in forensic medicine. And applying these principles of physics and chemistry to better understand and reconstruct the crimes. Definitely the principles of physics and chemistry help us to understand the crime scene better and reconstruct it. Reconstruction is nothing but at a crime scene, already the crime has happened. How did it happen? We reconstruct the things. For example, in a road traffic accident, when two cars have collided, we try to look into crime scene, collect the evidences, even look into the vehicles also, everything, and then we analyze which driver has tried to apply the brake, which car was at a speed expected or accepted, more than accepted speed limit. All these things we analyze by using the physics and chemistry principles. So with this background, today I'll speak about utility of forensic science in legal system. How the forensic science helps in legal system to solve the crimes, and how we all are responsible for that. That is what we are going to discuss today. The objectives would be, what is the forensics? The base thing you need to know, what is it? Then what is forensic science? Forensics means what is it mean, and forensic science means how it is useful and what is that, and various branches of forensic science, and basis of forensic investigations, why we need to do forensic investigations, on what basis we are doing the forensic investigations, are there any guidelines for us to do forensic investigation, that we look into. Then important cases solved. There are so many important cases, but few of them I have taken, and how the engineering background as well as the forensic science are involved to solve crimes, that I'll discuss, and some legal aspects of forensics I'll discuss, and any of your shorts, any of your questions, then we'll discuss. These are all the objectives of my talk today. So coming to the forensics, what is forensics? The name forensics is a Latin term. Forensic means public discussion. you know that in the olden days, usually whenever there are disputes between the two families or the two groups or two people or two individuals, that time through public discussions they used to be solved. These crimes or these disputes used to be solved in a public place through the discussion. Okay, that means forensic. Forensic is a Latin term that suggests public discussion. Based on this public discussion, that is forensic only, the forensics term is existing because it is used to solve crimes, okay, through the investigations. Okay, in ancient Rome, there was a marketplace in which people conducted government debates or used it as a courts of law. Okay, in the Rome, in the ancient Rome, a marketplace. They used to have these discussions, public discussions in the marketplace to solve any disputes, governmental debates, or used as a courts of law to solve the crimes or issues. In 1659, the word forensic was first added to the English vocabulary. Okay, and its modern meaning is referred to the legal or criminal investigation. Don't get confused when I mention legal investigation or criminal investigation. They both are synonymous to forensic investigation. What is a forensic science per se? It is a science of crime. In a simple terms, you can remember it as a science of crime. Okay. No other things we refer to forensic science. Only there, if the crime is involved and we need to solve that crime through the investigation, then we use the term forensic. So that's why in a simple terms we can remember it as a forensic science is nothing but a science of crime, and it is application of scientific knowledge to the criminal justice system. Here we are applying the scientific knowledge of any field, of any branch. The knowledge should be scientifically based, scientifically proven, and it is accepted by the scientific fraternity. That has to be applied to solve crimes in the criminal justice system. That is what is forensic science. And here look at that. We use science, we use technology, we use engineering, we use mathematics, we use physics, we use chemistry. So any science or a scientific knowledge of any branch is used in forensic science to solve the crimes. That is what is the forensic science. As a term, it is defined with law enforcement, public health, criminal laws, and criminal justice system. As I already told, when I utter the word forensic means it is related to law, it is related to public health, it is related to criminal laws or criminal justice system. In fact, the forensic science is about collecting, examining, and analyzing the physical evidence of the crime scene. What do you do in here? In forensic science, we do just collect the evidences, examine the evidences, analyze them at the crime scene, so that when evidence is submitted to the court of law whenever they ask pertaining to the case. Whenever a crime has been committed, the forensic expert duty is to go to the crime scene, search in the crime scene, collect any evidentiary material which is pertaining to the investigation, examine them, analyze them, and prepare a report so that it is submitted to the court. It educates us on how to find clues about the crime. This is very important. The more and more we involve in forensic science, it educates us regarding how to find clues. Like you all might have seen the CID television serial or so many serials pertaining to the crimes and investigations. Just will know that how to find the clues. Finding clues is very important as far as the criminal justice system is concerned, because the entire law and its verdicts are based on clues or based on your evidence what you submit in the court of law. Everything requires evidence, So for that evidence you require clues. So that's why how to find those clues is very, very important. And it helps to understand what occurred, how it occurred, and when it occurred. The three things we need to know: what has happened, how it has happened, and when it has happened. These three things. Because if it has happened one day back and the person is not there or not nearer the crime scene at that time, you cannot quote him in the court of law as one of the accused involved in the case. So that's why these three things, or how it happened. Obviously, we analyze, we will reconstruct the crime scene and we'll find out how it has occurred. And what has happened, definitely we'll come to know the moment we reach the crime scene. So the second and third things, how it occurred and when it occurred. These two things plays a vital role when we are using the forensic evidence in the court of law or forensic science in application of administration of justice. Forensic science applies to chemistry, biology, physics, geology, or any other branch. All these are involved and they are applied to civil and criminal law. Let us not be under the impression that forensic science means it is only applicable to criminal law or criminal justice system. No, even some civil cases it is applied. Civil cases and criminal cases, I am sure many of you are aware, but still I would like to tell in one word. Civil means it's a dispute, individual disputes between the two persons, two families, or two groups for monetary issues. Whereas criminal means it is the crime against the state, means that it affects the entire state or entire region. So that's why criminal law is very, very important, and all the things where there is the bearing on the society, they all comes under criminal law. Whereas the dispute between two families or two individuals for monetary issues, that comes under civil law. And places the same, for instance, places physical evidence into the professional discipline. Physical evidence, placing the physical evidence in a professional discipline means we try to find out evidence in the form of anything. Even if you collect the blood at the crime scene, it's a physical evidence. If you collect a poison, physical evidence. If you collect any parts of the vehicle which help you to find out the issues related to the crime, they all become physical evidences, and those physical evidences we are putting into a professional discipline. That is what is forensic science, to bring out justice. There are categories of forensic science, so many categories of forensic science. To list them, forensic biology, where the body fluids are involved, body tissues are involved. Forensic psychiatry and behavior science, here the person's mind is analyzed, person's mentality is analyzed, because the normal person cannot do any crimes, right? If a person is doing a crime means obviously his mental status is affected, mental condition is affected, he is not in his compos mentis, he is not in his sound mind, then only he tries to commit some crimes. So what was his mental status at the time of the crime, what was his mental ability, or was he able to withheld his anger, was he able to withheld or think rationally before that crime. All this will be analyzed in forensic psychiatry and a behavior science. Forensic toxicology, as the name itself suggests, toxicology is nothing but analysis of chemicals. Okay? Analysis of toxic substances. All poison related cases, even including the snake bite, scorpion bite, or any other bite where there is a transfer of poison, they all come under forensic toxicology. And here we analyze the blood, the urine, or the tissues of the body to find out the substance. Even substance abuse, Okay, it's very rampant. Substance abuse cases also come under forensic toxicology. Here we analyze the urine to find out whether the person has consumed the suspected substance of abuse or not. Of course, have their own limitations, because in the urine, at max you can get the positive reports up to 72 to 96 hours. Later, they become negative. But still, we have some other analytical techniques, like analysis of hair samples can give you presence of substance abuse for weeks. Okay, so weeks together, or even 3 to 4 weeks, sometimes you may get it, depending on the amount of substance abuse consumed. So that all will be analyzed in forensic toxicology. Forensic anthropology. Anthropology means measurements, body part measurements are involved to identify an individual. Okay, so that is what is done in forensic anthropology. Body parts analysis, body parts measurements. Different body parts have different things. For example, just based on the length of one of the long bone, femur or tibia or femur, we can say that whether this belongs to a male individual or a female individual. This forensic anthropology plays a vital role when in case of mass disasters and all, where you need to identify every individual, because as a dictum, as a rule, every individual who has died has to be identified before final rituals. This is a law. Okay, you cannot just bury an individual without identifying. So that's why in such cases the anthropology comes to the help. Trace evidence analysis, as the name suggests, any trace evidence which we have found at the crime scene need to be analyzed, and report need to be prepared to submit it to the court of law to solve the crime. Then forensic psychology. You may ask me a question: what is the difference between forensic psychiatry and a forensic psychology? Okay, there is subtle difference. In one word, I would like to tell: the psychiatry is diseases of the mind, whereas psychology is normal mind. Okay, psychology means psychiatry. There may be some structural damages in the brain, whereas in psychology there is no structural damage. No structural damage in psychology. Only the person's behavior is changed. Forensic podiatry is nothing but study of footprints. Even the footprints are helpful for us to find out whether the same person was there in the crime scene or not. Related to this, just I would like to tell one case which has happened in Manipal, in the apartments near the endpoint road. That's big apartments, three wings of the apartment is, I forgot the name of the apartment. There one person died. I don't say that whether he was murdered or something like that. I say that one person died. He was in the pool of blood, and lot of footprints were there nearer to the body. Lot of footprints. Anybody can think that yes, this is a murder, because so many footprints are there. Obviously you will think that yes, so many footprint means many people were there at the crime scene. They have done something to him, right? He died and blood was there because after when he fallen down, he has hit one corner of a wall, and he sustained a head injury, and through that the blood has come out. But when you took the footprints, all the footprints, and analyzed, they were all belonging to the same person. And you can imagine who was the person. He is himself. The person's footprints were there. So that's why the podiatry is also very, very important. Many a times it itself gives us a clue whether it's a suicide or a homicide or accidental death. Many times it's helped us. Forensic pathology, this is the main branch of forensic science. Here the analysis of so many things on a dead body. It's a duty of forensic medicine expert like us. Okay, forensic pathology means doing the postmortem examination and finding out the cause of death. That is what is forensic pathology. Forensic optometry. Opto means eyes, metry means measurements. Okay, so forensic optometry related to the various eye measurements. Not only the measurements, even in fact the study of the chemicals inside the eye, like for potassium and sodium. They also help us to find out sometimes cause, time since death, or sometimes whether the poison is present or not. So that's why forensic optometry is also important. Forensic odontology. Odontology is related to the teeth. So just by using one tooth, we can say that whether this tooth is belonging to female or male, whether this tooth is belonging to a person less than 25 years of age or more than 25 years of age. Okay, even age can be found out, sex can be found out, race of the individual, sometimes race of the individual also can be found out just by examining one tooth. That all concepts, even sometimes occupation of the individual who has died, his occupation also can be found out based on the tooth. So these all things are discussed and studied in forensic odontology. Forensic linguistics, the language based forensic analysis. Okay, voice analysis and all will come in forensic linguistics. Forensic geology, forensic entomology, forensic engineering, forensic DNA analysis, forensic botany, forensic archaeology, and digital forensics. And last but not the least is cyber forensics. These are also the categories of forensic science. Geology, your study of land as well as the sand samples and all will be studied. Entomology is study of insects. We will do the insect study to find out the time since death, place of death, and sometimes poison involved in entomology. Forensic engineering, I'll discuss in detail little bit. Forensic DNA analysis, obviously you are aware of that, as the name itself suggests, DNA, where there is a question of paternity or maternity disputes, or sometimes identification. In all these cases, we need to do forensic DNA analysis. One thing, just one case which has happened in Manipal, I'll tell you how the forensic DNA helps us to find out. Around 6 years back, one murder has happened in Murdeshwara, where a young 20 years old female was murdered. Okay, the allegation was she was sexually assaulted and murdered, and the body was sent for postmortem examination to our center, and we did the postmortem examination. And the next, because it came in the night, it had become a communal issue because the body was found in the veranda of a Muslim person, and where she used to go, she was a maid, she used to go for work in their house, and the body was found in the veranda of that Muslim person only. So they all were thinking that that Muslim person has sexually assaulted and murdered the lady. But what happened in that case, in fact, this DNA analysis helped us a lot to find out who was the real culprit in that case. What happened when we went for a crime scene examination and a suspected person's house also we went, alleged person and a suspected person, both the houses we went for crime scene examination. On the dead body, where the dead body was found, there we got one hair sample. And then when we went to the suspect's house, on his t-shirt we found one more hair sample. Okay, when both the hair samples were sent for DNA analysis, the hair which we found on the cloth of a, means t-shirt of a suspected person, that hair was belonging to the female. Means it's a corroborative evidence. The person was there or he had come in contact with the female. That was a corroborative evidence. This itself just gave us a clue that that Muslim person is not the victim, accused, and the suspected person himself has committed a crime. Then, after thorough investigations, it was proved beyond doubt that yes, the same person was involved in the crime. Some forensic botany related to the plants and all, using plants to solve crimes, or sometimes the plant anatomy, plant details are very important for us to know the poisons. Many poisons may be from the plant origin. So in such cases, we require the help of forensic botanist. And forensic archaeology, this is of not much importance nowadays. This is only for archaeologists. They try to find out the ages of so many things. And archaeologists, they do it. And digital forensics and cyber forensics, can use it as synonyms. It's nothing but the frauds which I just explained in the introduction. One of the thing, that is nothing but a digital forensics or a cyber forensics. Here we'll discuss that in detail in a short while. So coming to the forensic medicine, it is nothing but application of medical and paramedical scientific knowledge to certain branches of law, both civil as well as criminal. Here we are using the medical and a paramedical scientific knowledge. So that's why the name forensic medicine came. Okay, medicine is involved in solving the crimes. That is forensic medicine. And it deals with the examination and assessment of the individuals who have been injured or killed by external influence such as trauma or intoxication. Just don't think that we deal with a dead body, even we deal with a injured person. Okay, that's why there is a unit called clinical forensic medicine unit in our Kasturba hospital. Any issues related to the accident, any issues related to the injury, any issues related to the assaults, any issues related to the poison or animal bites, all come under clinical forensic medicine. Means the live patients come to the forensic medicine. There we examine them and we do the medico legal management of such cases. Okay. Not only victims and suspects of crime, but also suicides and accidental fatalities are examined by a forensic medicine specialist. That is what I told. Not just think that only you deal with the dead bodies, even the suicides, accidental fatalities, along with these, even the injured persons also we will examine. What is forensic engineering? It is nothing but the investigation of failures ranging from serviceability to catastrophic event, which may lead to legal activity including both civil and criminal. Okay. Anything, any failure of on the part of machine or some defect in the machines, which is ranging from serviceability to catastrophic event. Okay, they all are included in the forensic engineering. As you are seeing here in the two photographs, look at that. One is a bridge collapse, another one is just an accident or machine failure. What was the reason for that? That is what analysis happens through the forensic engineering. What was the reason for that bridge collapse? What was the reason for that machine failure? We need to analyze. If it's a bridge collapse, obviously the people will die. Then it goes for criminal law. If the just machine failed because of that, something like the machine is not working, because of that the loss to the company or something, that comes under civil law. Okay. And investigations of materials, products, structures or components that fail or do not operate or function as intended, causing personal injury, damage or to property or economic loss. Look at that. That fail or do not operate or function as intended, or causing personal injury, damage or property or economic loss. Everything is coming under forensic engineering. Cyber forensics, as I told, is the scientific process of examining digital media in a forensically sound manner with the aim of identifying, preserving, recovering, analyzing and presenting facts and opinions about the digital information. Look at it. Cyber forensic means not just one process. It is involving so many processes. First and foremost, we need to identify what is the mistake, preserve that. Sometimes you all aware of that recovering from the hard drive is very difficult. So we need to recover that and analyze whether it is the same thing or not. Then present the facts about the thing and give your opinion, valuable opinion. What is the reason for that? That all things should be in forensic, cyber forensics. What is the basic for all these forensic investigations? On what basis we do all investigations? Are there any guidelines for us to do the investigation? Of course, there are guidelines. There are so many guidelines, but the basic principle for us is very important. As we know that almost all crimes leave behind at least a small traces of physical evidence. This even in many of the Hindi movies or Kannada movies, you might have heard or you might have read that every crime leaves a trace behind, right? So that's why based on this only the forensic investigations are dependent. Every contact leaves a trace, and this is based on the Edmund Locard. He is the person who has given this concept for the first time, Edmund Locard, and based on that, there is a principle called Locard's principle of exchange. Means any crime which takes place, there will be an exchange of evidence from one to another. For example, if there is a collision between the truck and a car, definitely there would be exchange of either the paint or any other material from truck to car and from car to truck. This is what is a Locard's principle of exchange. In a sexual assault cases, definitely there will be exchange of things. The skin tissues belonging to the male could be transferred to the female, and females many chemicals would be transferred to the male. Like that, there will be an exchange in every crime. This is a basic principle for all forensic investigations. Along with this, there are other forensic principles. Principle of individuality, principle of progressive change, principle of comparison, principle of analysis, principle of probability, and principle of circumstantial facts. These are some other principles based on which the forensic investigations are depending. What is the law of individuality? The law of individuality is of fundamental importance in forensic science. Individuality. What is that? Every object, natural or man-made, has all individual which is not duplicated in any other object. Every one of us are individual. Every one of us have the individual different characteristic feature. For example, every one of us have different fingerprints. No two individual have the same fingerprint, right? It's a individualistic. Of course, some characters may be similar, but there are features which are individualistic in nature, like fingerprint, lip prints, and so many other things which are present in our body are individualistic to us. Okay, so based on this individuality, many of the crimes have been solved and are being solved. Individuality has been verified in certain fields, mostly in fingerprints and all, and the most extensive work has been carried out in fingerprints. Okay, as far as the individuality is concerned, fingerprints are the prime things, because of course all of you have given your fingerprints, right, in Aadhaar card. Why they have taken your fingerprint? Because it's individualistic to you. Nobody would have the similar fingerprint as that of you. Only we say that 1 in 64 billion 1 in 64 billion individuals, there may be a chance of similar fingerprints, which is very unlikely. Okay, so that's why individuality is very important basis for forensic investigations. Law of progressive change. everything changes with the passage of time, right? Similarly, even the evidences change. Forensics, its impact on forensic science is immense, right? If you don't collect the evidence today, tomorrow if you want to collect, there may be a change. So that's why we say that as early as possible, we need to collect the evidences. Okay. The criminal, the crime scene and objects involved in the crime all undergo changes, hence may become unrecognizable. This is very, very important. I give an example which has happened in Manipal. All of you might be aware of the case which happened in Honavar in 2017 December. In fact, the case is related to me only. I was the person who had done the autopsy. The morning, the dead body was recovered from the pond, and there was allegations that the clash happened between the two groups, and one was Muslim, one was Hindu. So because of that, they did not allow the body to be shifted to mortuary and do the postmortem examination immediately. Morning 7 o'clock, the body found. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we did the autopsy. Almost some 7-8 hours delay, and it itself is sufficient for the body to go for decomposition. And our body has been putrefied, decomposed, and decomposed changes have happened on the body. Body turns to be black as a part of decomposition and all. And when we did the autopsy, we get the RAME report. They told that no, it is wrong. He was poisoned, and they have thrown acid on the face because body was black. Face was black. The allegation was they have thrown acid on the face of the victim, but doctor has not mentioned in his report. He is hiding the fact. That was allegation on me. Of course, we cleared it when we asked the crime scene photographs. Obviously, the crime scene photographs was not having any color change on the body. That itself is sufficient to prove that yes, the change which has happened on the dead body is because of decomposition, not because of any acid. So things happen. There will be progressive change. That's why as early as possible, we suggest that collect the evidences in the crime scene or a criminal or objects involved in the crime scene. Law of comparison. Okay, everything is based on comparison, right? So only one likes can be compared is the law of comparison. What is that? What do you mean by only the likes can be compared? Obviously, if the fingerprints are matching, then yes, fine. These same fingerprints are belonging to another person. If the blood group is matching with the suspected blood group, then it is compared and matched, right? So that's why comparison means you are comparing with the suspected and accused blood groups or any other evidentiary materials. It emphasizes the necessity of providing like sample and specimens for a comparison. Blood sample with a blood sample, fingerprint with a fingerprint. We can compare, or footprint with a footprint, or anything else which are comparable, like dental prints or dental records. Fingerprints, if you just enter the crime scene, you will leave the fingerprints. And when your suspected is caught, his fingerprints are matched with the fingerprints left at a crime scene. This is what is a comparison. In a mass disasters, if the person has died, I'll come to one of the examples about WTC attack. I'll discuss. If the person has died and his anti-mortem dental data is available, to prepare the post-mortem dental data and compare both of them, whether they match or not. That also help us to find out or fix the identity of the individual. Law of analysis. The analysis can be no better than the sample analyzed. What do you mean by that? The analysis can be no better than the sample analyzed. Means sample is a prime thing. The analysis plays a very role. How you analyze is matters. The principle emphasizes the necessity of correct sampling and packaging for effective use of experts. How you collect the sample, how you preserve the sample, how you send the same sample for the analysis, that matters a lot. So that's why keeping the samples in a safe custody is very, very important. That is what is called, we call it as a safe chain of custody. That I'll discuss at the end. Okay, chain of custody, just keeping the samples safe and without any contamination. That is what is chain of custody. That we'll discuss then. Law of probability, all the identifications, definite or indefinite, are made consciously or unconsciously on the basis of probability. And probability is the frequency of occurrence of an event, right? It's a frequency of occurrence of an event. Probably this person has committed. Probably this is a fingerprint belonging to the accused. Probably the blood group which we have analyzed is belonging to the same accused. Like that, probabilities also plays a vital role. And exact probability of some things are almost impossible. Many times you cannot fix the exact probability, like dog hairs and blue jeans. Dog hairs and blue jeans, they are not comparable only. Okay, so you cannot even say that probably they are all they both are belonging to same or both are same. You cannot say that. This is also we need to keep in mind when we are analyzing. Sorry. Law of circumstantial facts. What has happened in a surrounding, that also plays a vital role when you are analyzing the forensic cases. Okay, facts do not lie, men can and do, obviously, right? The human being can tell lies, and definitely we tell lies many a times, but facts do not lie. Fact is a fact, that's why it is called as fact. It never changes. If it is A means it's A, it never becomes B, right? So that's why the facts never lie, whereas men can. So that is what is the basis of circumstantial facts. Hence, the importance of circumstantial evidence is as good as oral evidence. Look at that. They say that circumstantial evidence is as good as oral evidence because of this nature. And oral evidence depends upon so many factors such as power of observation, assimilation, auto suggestion, etc. Right? The oral evidence definitely depends on the power of observation of the person, whereas fact, no, fact is a fact, it never changes. And some examples, look at that. What are the circumstantial facts? Newspaper. How can a newspaper become a circumstantial fact? The very important cases have been solved just based on the newspaper found at the crime scene. Okay, so just one example I will tell you how it was solved. One murder has happened, and afterwards the body has been thrown into the one canal. By the side of the canal, they have never thought that that newspaper itself could be a very you can say evidence material for the law enforcing agencies. This paper was, while reading the newspaper, they have killed him. Along with the body, they have thrown the paper also. When the investigating officers found that paper, they took that paper and just on the paper, the date of the publication was present. They noticed, they found out the date of publication. That date of publication itself helped the investigating officers to find out, okay, on so and so date this crime has been committed, and they started searching the CCTV footages of that particular date, and then with the help of CCTV footages they narrowed down 2-3 people, and out of 2-3 people one who has committed a crime was caught. Like that, just a newspaper can become a circumstantial fact. Or sometimes blood stains found in the crime scene, they can help. And of course the fingerprints, we say that they are the best evidence materials if we get in a crime scene. And you might be observed, the police never allow you to enter inside the crime scene, right? Why they don't allow? Because there may be a chance print left at the crime scene if you all enter into the crime scene. So that's why, to avoid those chance prints, they never allow. Because if you enter and your fingerprints also come means, while analyzing, they get the number of fingerprints. So it becomes difficult for them to point out at a criminal. So that's why they never allow. How to examine a crime scene? The process behind the crime scene examination. One thing is first we need to examine the scene proper. Okay, analyze the scene properly. What has happened? How it has happened? Take photographs from all the directions, sketches possible, distances from the landmarks, everything you need to note down in crime scene investigation. After that, you start examining the individuals. If at all the bodies are found at the crime scene, note down the basic facts and then immediately shift to the mortuary. Otherwise, what happens? Unnecessary delay will cause the various changes on the dead body. So first is scene proper examination, followed by individual examination. It's important. Some important cases when we are analyzing. Okay, this is one of the important case that the I-35 collapse. That's a bridge, the huge bridge in Minneapolis that was collapsed. Okay, and the forensic investigation team was set up and started analyzing. You can imagine such a big bridge has collapsed means it's not an easy task to investigate and find out what is the fault, where is the fault. But the thorough examination, thorough investigation by the forensic engineers led to a clue. They found out there was a gusset plate fracture. Okay, the picture is shown in the corner. Look at that. It's a very small plate. You can imagine that such a small plate fracture itself was reason for the collapse of the bridge. Okay, when you put it in a Google or if you read about this I-35 collapse in Minneapolis, it's a very interesting investigation. How they found out that, it's a very interesting. So you can go through about that and look at it. That small gusset plate fracture played a key role in the collapse of the bridge. Okay. This is one of the important case. How the forensic engineers found out that. That story is beautiful. You can read about that. Then WTC attack, the World Trade Center attack. It's recently even celebrated the anniversary of that. And in this one, the DNA samples from 14,000 to 49 body parts recovered from wreckage of the Twin Towers. I am not talking about the body, okay? Body parts, 14,000 to 49 body parts. Means from every part the DNA samples were taken and they were matched with the family members. Those who claim for the body, they come forward and give their DNA sample, and all these body part DNAs and the samples received from the claimants all will be matched and the victim is identified. This is what is the process. Here almost 15,000, 14,200 body parts were recovered, were identified using the DNA. The similar thing I will tell you, in Mangalore plane crash, we were involved in the autopsy, around 156 bodies. Even we collected the DNA. Of course, in that one lapse has happened on the part of the administrators. Because of that fear and anxiety and just finishing the work as early as possible, based on visual identification, they were handing over the body. Because of that, there was some mismatch in some bodies. Okay, because somebody has claimed for a body and they have got the different body, or somebody who were not involved, they got the body. Because the immediately government announced a huge compensation for the victims, then everybody started coming forward, and just visual identification, it was beyond recognizable condition, all the bodies were, but still based on the belongings of the victims we identify the bodies and we are handing over the bodies to the relatives. But still some bodies were misidentified because this DNA sampling technique was not adopted for all the 156 bodies. When we came to know that yes, there is a mismatch, then we we requested the district authorities and the government. Then they allowed us to go for the DNA, and after that, all the bodies were correctly identified. But before that, some bodies were unidentified, and even at the end, also some 9 or 11 bodies were not identified. All bodies were buried in a mass burial. And DNA samples from bodies to choose taken directly from the victim, from a hair or toothbrush, for example, or from a family member. Look at that. Even from the toothbrushes which were used by the suspected victim, they were also collected. Please remember, this is a very important point. When you brush your tooth, definitely you leave your DNA on the toothbrush. That itself is sometimes useful. In this WTC attack, so many bodies were identified just based on the DNA which was collected from the toothbrush. Okay. And the Lavender murder case, this is also one important murder case. This happened in South India. Indo-Ceylon Express train was there. In that time, in the train, this murder had happened, but nobody were noticing. Only one person noticed that there was a foul-smelling trunk was found beneath one of the sitting in one of the compartments. He found a small foul-smelling trunk. Everybody were thinking that okay, this is belonging to somebody else, and that person's gets down and another person's boards the train, and then he sits in the same place. Till that foul smelling emanated from the trunk, nobody noticed and nobody complained. When it foul smelling smell started coming, then they complained to the police. The police investigating the complaint opened the trunk and found the headless body. There was no head, only the trunk and the limbs were found. Okay. Then the police discovered a severed head in Royapuram beach in Chennai. Okay. In Chennai, they found the head. Okay, they were preserving the trunk which was found in the trunk, and then they found that severed head, and both were matching. When they subjected them for various analysis, they found that yes, this is belonging to the Alavender, Mr. Alavender, who was murdered. Okay, both were of the same individual, and fingerprints were also matched in this case. Some of the important case. And impersonation in exam fraud is very common. Many students, especially in the North India, of course now in every part of the country, they are happening. And this is one case where look at that in the top sheet, that is a handwriting, okay, of a suspect A. Then this S1 sample of the person, suspected person, specimen sample of handwriting of suspect A, they were taken and they were matched. You can look at that, almost they are similar, based on that even handwriting also can be. That's why nowadays there are handwriting experts, forensic handwriting specialists are available to find out whether the, you may see that okay, I will change the wording or I'll change the style of writing, but they cannot change completely. Some strokes, they not only just look into the words or letters, the strokes and all they look into. Just changing strokes and all is impossible for any person. So that's why even the impersonation or a fraud related to exam in by impersonating are caught by forensic experts. This is a question and this is sample. That's all. Then CCTV footage as evidence. This is also important case which happened in our district only. One important person, reputed person in the locality was committed suicide. In fact, as he was very reputed person and he was very young also. So that's why the people, the followers started saying that no, he was murdered. Then the big investigation happened because in the crime scene, when we saw the crime scene, nothing was disturbed. That itself was a clue for us that nothing has happened, nobody has entered. But the people who started talking about murder, then we have to do the thorough investigation. After thorough investigation, we found that CCTV footage. That CCTV footage was showing that yes, this person himself has committed crime. Here, the recording was not of the incident, but recording was the thing he was moving towards the place at that point of time. That itself was a corroborative evidence to say that yes, he alone has entered that room at that particular time when he had died. So that helped us to find out yes, the person has committed suicide not by murder, because nobody else has entered the room. Nobody else have come out of the room during that time. You may ask, somebody would have hide in the room and afterwards they might have come back. When searched to the CCTV of 24 hours, nobody entered, nobody came out except this person. So that's why that was a corroborative evidence for us to find out that yes, he has committed suicide. People thought and the murder CCTV footage collected which proved collaborative evidence. And Rajiv Gandhi assassination case, you all are aware of this case. You have heard, you might have followed also. Here, one forensic expert called Professor Chandrasekharan, he found out for the first time the electronic skull identification method to identify the assassin with the help of earlier photographs of them. What we call a superimposition. Here, the first time the electronic skull identification was done by him using the earlier photographs, and that was a corroborative evidence in the court of law to prove that yes, that photographs were belonging to the new and the skull was that of the person. This is what has happened. Of course, even the Rajiv Gandhi himself was identified based on the teeth. Okay, teeth set which were recovered at the crime scene. This is what is how they electronically superimposed the things. They prepared and superimposed. And another murder case or suicide case. Here, family members, all the family members, they had dinner and slept outside in the veranda. You can see in the first photograph there are some beds, right? So on these beds only they slept. And next day morning none of them got up. So everybody thought that yes, they were all murdered by poisoning. Okay. So but there was no vomiters because none of them are vomited, nothing, and it is impossible, right, to kill a person when all four five members are died. It's very impossible. You cannot kill them one by one. Obviously, it would have happened at the same time. And when you went inside and searched, presence of other clean utensils, no disturbance of the crime scene, everything is in place. Definitely, it creates doubt, right? How do you die? In absence of wrapper or container of any poison material, nothing was found in the crime scene. Nothing was there, and presence of significant amount and a different type of medicines. This is one thing which was the thing, positive thing we got at the crime scene. Okay, different types of medicines were present. Okay, they helped us to solve this crime. Okay, he has not used any poison. These all people were died because of overdosages of the medicine. And Sheena Bora murder case, you all are aware of this case. Sheena Bora went missing in 2012. In 2015, Mumbai police arrested 3 people, including mother Indrani Mukherjee, okay, and subsequently burning her corpse. Indrani Mukherjee killing and subsequently burning her corpse. She was arrested, and Khanna Rai confessed to the crime, and Mukherjee had said that Sheena Bora is living in the United States. She was telling that yes, she is not here, she is living in United States. Okay, this is what she was telling to the relatives, this is what she was telling to the neighbors, friends, everybody. But she has killed and burned the corpse. That is what has happened. But later on, the ashes were recovered, some burnt parts were recovered, bones were recovered, and DNA analysis helped to solve the case. Okay, so even a burnt bone, if you get a 1/2 centimeter of bone, intact bone, that is more than sufficient to get a DNA out of that and analyze. And so, investigative procedure usually first thing is define the failure. What has happened? You need to define it. then collect the possible evidences at the crime scene, analyze the evidences, various evidences you need to analyze, then possible events that root causes for the failure. You find out that and validate the hypothesis through the structural analysis, arrive at a conclusion regarding the cause, and prepare the final report. These are the steps involving investigation. How you prepare our report and how we go about investigation. This is what is just in a single slide. And coming to the legal aspect of forensics, the world of law enforcement is increasingly making use of the techniques and knowledge. The more and more techniques which are evolving, all techniques are being used, and all the new knowledge is being used to solve the crimes. And this knowledge itself is used to better understand the crimes that are committed and to catch those individuals responsible for the crimes. And when we are doing this forensic investigation and legal aspects we are dealing with, we need to remember these things. One is search and seizure. Courts decline evidence if it has been improperly obtained by law enforcement agencies. When you are searching for the evidence material, when you are seizing the evidence material, it should be properly searched and properly seized. If it is any lacuna is found, the evidence is rejected by the court of law. This is one thing we need to give. Second one is chain of custody, that I already told you. What is that? It is essential from a legal point of view for continuity of the custody of the samples to be demonstrated by the prosecution from the time of their being obtained to the time that the samples are tested. Means from the time of collection of the evidences till it is subjected for evidences in the court of law, it is the responsibility of the investigating officer to keep them intact, to avoid contamination, because there may be chances of tampering the evidences. So that's why you need to keep them under safe custody. That is what is custody of chain of custody. Then disclosure of expert reports. Extent of disclosure vary in different courts from prosecution and from defense. So that's why how much you need to disclose, how much you need not, that needs to be decided prior you are submitting your evidence in the court of law. Then destruction by testing of a sample. Some of the samples or poor laboratories work or utilization of certain tests may result in destruction of sample. For example, if you are doing some benzodiazepine test on a blood, it destroys the blood. Later on, you cannot have that sample for any other test. So that's why you should be very careful. Or even in your engineering also, if any test destroys the sample, don't go for that. Keep some part of the sample aside, so that if at all the court or somebody asks you to repeat the test, you should be in a position to do it. If you have already destroyed the evidence, you can be punished under Indian Penal Code for destruction of evidence. No, your intention is right, though you are punishable. So please keep that in mind. And evidentiary admissibility rules. Scientific evidence is expert evidence in the form of facts and in the form of opinion. All scientific evidences either they prove the fact or they are form of an opinion. If it is a fact, straight away it will be accepted in the court of law. If it is an opinion, the person who has given that opinion would be testified in the court of law. Okay, so this is what is admissibility rule says. And certification procedures. Law allows for scientific evidence to be tendered by the prosecution upon production of a report to the court and the accused person a suitable time before the trial. Means when the evidence is submitted in the court of law, it will be offered by the prosecution. Okay, prosecution will give that to the concerned accused or accused party to go through the report or go through the evidence. Some courts allow that. Okay, so that it is a full proof. If at all they are having any questions on that part, they can prepare and come to the court and produce. That's why you might have seen this is a new thing which has been submitted and we are not aware of that. We require some time to prepare on that. The defense lawyers would be asking, right? So this is what is the certification procedure. So when you have these all things in mind, definitely we can submit a good evidence in a court of law so that the culprit is punished. These are some of the legal issues pertaining to the forensic science. So with this quote, the first faults are theirs that commit them. The second faults are theirs that permit them. So that's why let us not permit the second fault. So find out the fault of the accused or the suspected persons, do our job scientifically and help the investigating agencies. With this, I conclude my talk. Any questions you can ask? Thank you very much.
Yes, any question from participants? No questions?
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
please, sir,
Yeah.
please.
Sir, any online certification on this particular course for like I am a researcher in cloud computing, but
Okay.
I really liked your presentation. But anything short-term course or also something related online material or else online course is available on this particular topic, whatever you have taught.
Yes, sir. Lot of courses are available, online courses, and different courses are there, like laws of forensic science or cyber forensics, how to handle evidence materials, how to examine the crime scene. All a lot of different branch online courses are available. You can join anything in which you are interested, sir. If you require any help, you can contact me. I will give you the details.
Okay, sir. Can you yeah, share the email ID, sir? Your email ID. So that
Yeah, my email ID is shankar.mb@manipal.edu.
1 minute, sir. I can note it down. Shankar dot.
MB, M for Mumbai, B for Bangalore.
Okay. At manipal.edu, right, sir?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, I have a query. Hello?
Please, madam. Please, madam.
Sir, this is a course as an elective we are running here at our university. Because when we run this course, what we do is usually it's all theoretical. We teach the theoretical aspects. But is there any online virtual laboratory wherein we can make the students feel that they are really doing all these kind of forensics investigations and all? Any idea about that?
Right now, as my knowledge goes, there are no virtual practical classes are conducted online, madam.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, in India, no institute is providing this sort of facility.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only physical practical classes are available, madam.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Sir, one related question I am having.
Please, madam.
How to set up this forensic lab in the, so what are the actually the cost components involved and what is the structure of the lab, forensic labs?
Yeah, forensic lab is it's a very vast one, madam. Actually, if you want to have the different branches of forensic lab, in the sense, if you want to have a toxicology
Cyber
lab, you can
forensics. Cyber
forensics. Cyber
Yeah.
forensics is not much, madam. You can start with the basic things, analysis. Just you require a computer and some softwares. Software
Yes,
does
forensic
not cost
tools.
much.
Can you mention some forensic tools
Forensic tools in terms of, madam.
that are digital? This one, any
Yeah,
analysis of
you
digital
can mail
content.
me, madam. I'll send you the details.
Okay. That is mainly related to the cyber forensics, computer
Yes,
related. tools
Yeah.
for that, and digital content, that analysis, and
Yes,
if there is
yes,
any
yes.
fraud, how to.
Yeah, there
So
are
at least the
different
students
because
will have some feeling about.
correct. There are some different tools, ma'am, because so many tools are there. Just to analyze the hard drives of a computer, there are different tools. Just to look into the password hacking, to tracking, those different tools are there. So so many tools are there.
And
So just
yeah,
mail me.
open
I'll give
source.
you, send you the details, madam.
Yeah, open source tools only we are interested, because we
Yeah.
don't have sufficient funds to spend on these.
Yes, yes. I'll send you, madam. Some open source
Huh.
tools are there, but they you cannot analyze it very deeply. But
Okay.
superficial analysis is possible with the open source tools, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, any questions? Any questions from participants? Okay. If no questions, I think we can conclude our session with Dr. Shankar here. Thank you very much, Dr. Shankar. Your session was very informative, and with your real world case studies, you made it very interesting as well. I'm sure even all our participants are benefited with your session. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Shrikant sir, are you there? Shrikant sir. Okay. I think we can take 5 minutes break so that yeah, Shrikant sir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
5 minutes break. Yeah,
Yeah, we'll take 5 minutes break and then start a session, sir.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay, participants, be online. So after 5 minutes break, we'll come back and start a hands-on session. Thank you. Welcome back, everybody. Shrikant sir, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we can start our hands-on session now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Good evening, all of you. Right. Yeah. So as you have heard in the first session, the different forensic datas, that is the touch-in datas, which I said fingerprints, and it was reiterated in the second talk by Dr. Shankar Baknawar. And the second data which is visible clearly, that is a facial data. So these are the two main data which are used for computer forensics as evidences, because these are the two captured first at any crime scene. So and also the legal aspects was told in the morning, the different sections and the Indian penal codes, and which was widely supported by Dr. Shankar Baknawar. He gave examples of physical crimes and which were solved manually, and also he gave examples of crimes which were physical in nature, which were solved using cyberspace, that is by using computers or by using surveillance cameras and getting to the solutions. Now, what is the procedure we can evolve, or what are the new things which we can do here? So I thought first one, which is very apt, is called as facial analysis. Right. So and I'll submit this with the biometrics day after tomorrow in the hands-on session. Now, what do you mean by facial analysis? It is not face recognition. It has nothing to do with the feature extraction part, what we do in face recognition, and also the matching part, what we do there, basically, right? So facial analysis means we have to collect certain invariant lens. Now, invariant lens, basically. Now, what do you mean by invariant lens? These are parameters which remain unique for a person. So if we have two invariant lens, LE and GTHS, basically, can we find ratios between two invariant lens? Even those ratios will remain unique, which cannot which cannot be same for two people, basically. Now, what are these ratios, basically? And once again, can we make these ratios and can we make this lens to work on any other kind of data, basically, right? So here comes into picture morphology and anthropology, basically. Morphometric measurements and anthropometric measurements. So we need to understand the theories behind it, basically, right? Which I'll be supporting in my talk once again day after tomorrow, right? So basically there are certain concepts here which says face is one of the most important part we know, which is captured in any organization, basically, right? And there are certain facial expressions what are formed on the face, basically, right? There can be good emotions, there can be bad emotions, and we need to capture these emotions, basically, to find whether the person is in the correct state of mind or it is not in the correct state of mind, he or she, basically, right. So whatever emotions are being expressed, so they are called as basically gestures, right? And they are called as basically facial gestures. Right. Just let's go now. Let us see this. Now, what do you mean by morphological features, basically? Right. They are basically depending on shapes. So these are all predefined shapes what we have, like triangular, oval, round, diamond, square, heart. Now, when you are going to write a program to find these shapes, we have to fix this into particular geometrical formats. Say like this, you can say to be approximately an ellipse. This also can be an ellipse. This can be circular. This also can be ellipse. So there can be various geometrical shapes which you can put all these objects into. So a lot of geometry will be involved, right? To code and store these shapes inside, basically. And I said in the morning that we need to have certain forecasting ideas generated already. So all these shapes, possible shapes, have to be stored, and then we can take any user input and try to classify it in any form of the shapes there. So there are some kind of foreheads there. You can see the shapes: broad forehead, narrow forehead, straight forehead, or curved forehead, M-shaped, sharp forehead. And so these are different types of foreheads what we have. Once again, you can formulate the shapes of these objects, basically. The basic idea here is to do an analysis of the faces. I have not yet come to that particular part of finding the lengths and the ratios, basically. That's very important, right? Right. Now, these are different types of foreheads, what we have. This is very important because either if you are doing facial analysis or face recognition, if you know these informations, you can make certain ground truths. And ground truths are finally the final outcomes of the experiment. So any user data will fit into these ground truths, basically, right? So these are the possible types of foreheads what we have: plump rounded cheeks, evidently raised cheek, or flat cheeks, and sunken cheeks, basically. Now you can form certain conclusions. If you look at this, it looks to be happy. This looks to be a little bit anxious. This looks to be a little bit sad. There's a difference between anxious and sad, basically. Anxious means the person is having problems of anxiety, continuously anxious. Sad continuously means depression, basically, right? If you see this particular phase, it looks to be in certain state of panic. So panic, depression are all of the same kind of disorders, basically. So if you look at these, basically, you can say what type of mood the particular person is in. So this becomes very important. Different types of eyes, eyebrow shapes, basically. So you can see these eyebrows. Now you can see how the shape is curling. So looking at this, we can make certain judgments. I will show you certain pictures now before we go into the experiments. Okay. Right. So these are all the live data what I have. I hope you are able to see it there. Right. Yeah. So this is one is not very clear, right? It's a lady, basically, right? Now, can you see this? This data and this data, right? So both have been captured through cameras, right? So this one and this one. Now, if you look at these two datas, you can see the eyebrows, how it looks, how the shapes are going. You can look here also, how it is going. The shapes are almost same, right? Shapes are almost same, but here it is thick in nature. Eyes, here it is more thin, and here it is more bigger. Right. Right. So looking manually at these two faces, we can judge that they don't belong to the same person. But when you see it for the first time, it looks to be of the same person. Even you can look at the nostrils. Nostrils here are anyway not visible, but the shapes are a little bit different. So these two are not of the same person, right? Now you can look at this. So you can make a lot of judgments here. One is what type of forehead the person is having, what type of eyes, basically, from that sheet, what I showed you just now. So you can make certain judgments on that, but let us try to analyze this person and this person. These both are not same, basically. These were many of these images were involved in frauds, right? Either in property frauds or in domestic frauds, or some of them were involved in crimes like murders also, right? So I'm not going to tell all that who are involved in all that. I'm just showing you this real-time data, right? They were all captured by cameras. So these two are totally different. Once again, we do not have to say anything about this. Let us look at some. Let us look at this particular one, and let us look at this. If you look at this and this manually, it looks similar, right? They might be look-alike, or it might be the same face, same person. What do you mean by look-alike? They both are resembling the same person, but they are not the same person. That is what is look-alike, right? Either they belong to same person or they are look-alikes. So all these classifications need to be done. So if you look at this and if you look at this, I would like to ask you a question, right, to all of you. This is the first one. This is the first one. Okay, just have a look at it. It's a lady once again. And if you look at this, how many of you say that it belongs to the same person? I want an answer. How many of you say it belongs to the same person?
Sir, the same person. Same
Yeah.
person.
This one, yeah. Let me
Not
see.
the same.
And this one. Okay, I will show you the what is that sheets here. You can make certain judgments. You can look at these foreheads. Anyway, you have seen all this. Let us look manually now. How many of you say it belongs to the same person? This one and this one. This one. Okay.
Same person, sir.
And
Same person.
Not
this
same.
one. Now, okay, it is same person you are saying. Okay, let us put it on the canvas. Point number 2. The second question is, which is younger and which is older? This one or this one? Which is older? Which is younger and which is older? Tell me. Make a note of it. If you look at this and if you look at this, you can look at the eyebrows, the way it is tilted here, and you can look at the eyebrows, the way it is tilted in this one. Can you see it here? Are they same? Are the ways the eyebrows are tilted same?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
No, sir.
No, it is not of the same
No.
person.
So this
It
is
is not
younger
of the
one.
same person.
Question.
So
Sorry.
this
Huh?
is the younger one.
One
Which
one
one?
question, sir.
So
Yeah, tell me.
Sorry to interrupt you, but can't someone shape their eyebrows? Just asking. If only through
Shaping the
image,
eyebrows.
because you
Shaping.
said
Anyway,
filter.
I have got a physical evidence that they are not the same person, but that's a very good question. What you have asked, sir. Shaping the eyebrows, but to that precision, it is very difficult. I understood your point. Artificially, can you make it, right?
Yeah, if someone shapes it, two of the
Uh,
eyebrows, if they can
uh,
shape it,
okay, then even if you take the eye socket, can you see this eye socket?
yes,
This cannot be shaped, right?
correct, true.
Yeah. If you look at this, and if you look at this, the eye sockets are totally different.
Mhm.
Correct?
True,
You can
true.
make it out.
Correct.
Yeah, the
Yes,
shapes are different. One looks to be more circular in nature, one looks to be more elliptical in nature. So it is,
correct,
and plus the forehead is bulging out, right?
true. No, the forehead looks
This
different.
forehead.
Yes,
Yeah. So there is a bulge. Anyway, let us not name the foreheads. So look, now all these evidences you can note down before you code basically, right? So different possibilities. So this is also done. Okay, agreed. You have given the correct answer. Somebody, even when I saw it for the first time last November when I had gone to Delhi, even I got a doubt whether it belongs to the same person. So then they told that you look at all the different shapes possible manually. Agreed. Now you look at this one. This lady was involved in a property crime, basically, right? And what she did was, where she had a friend of hers whose face was similar to her. right? Same face. So she put an allegation on that other person. She was also a lady, saying that she has done the crime, and she put this as an ad in the newspaper. So when she put this ad in the newspaper along with her image, so she left one clue. What she did was she took her image, the bigger one, and she cropped it and she gave it to the newspaper agency. She cropped it till her face comes, till only this particular part comes almost. So when the investigation agencies, Forensic Science Laboratory in Sagar in Madhya Pradesh, they were contacted. So they asked for the e-print of the newspaper. So the because it was very blurred, right? It was cropped. So they got a doubt. So they once again decropped it and they found the original image. So the original image, what was there, and the cropped one was resembling her friend. Basically, some resemblance was there with a friend. I will see whether the friend's photograph is there. But when they decropped it, they clearly found out that this was the other person. Means the other person means the person who really committed the crime, who put the case in the court, basically. So these are type of crimes what people do, and we can find out from the image content. Basically, you can see this is more blurred, right? But if you look at this image, you don't know whether this particular person committed the crime. So I have told you the story why this image appeared in the newspaper. This image was actually the image of the person who committed the crime, but she had cropped it and she had given it to the newspaper, right? And when the investigation agencies found it, they decropped it and they found that it was not her friend. Actually, it was she only who was involved, basically, and she was trapped. So you can look at this. This has no resemblance. This was shown previously. I think the other image is not there of hers. Let us see. Let me ask you this, that the other image, I just search for that particular person, that prototype. You look at this now. I want to ask you a question now. Look at this. He is a dentist basically, but he is not involved in any crimes basically, right? It's a normal image. And the morning I told you I have got normal datas and I've got datas involved with crimes basically, right? And Shankar Baknal also made it very clear. Forensic will not go right if there are no crime datas involved, right? But having only crime data also makes no sense. You have to have certain data which are normal or which became normal, on which suspicion was there, but it became normal. Like Shankar gave an example, right? Some dead body was found in one house, and the whole allegation was thrown on that particular person who was the owner of the house, but he was not involved. It was somebody else. So that's the way. So if you look at this and if you look at this, are they belong to the same person or they lookalikes? Please look at it. This one and this one. What is your answer? Take away. Look at the eyebrows, eye sockets. You can look at cheeks and the mouth and ears. Look at this. How many of you said belong to the same person? This is not clear.
I feel to be the same person.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
This is same person. Yes. Protruding ears. Can you see? Here. This is the left ear.
Ears, the jawline.
Jawline. Exactly. Jawline and the eyebrows, even the eye line. If you take the eye line, mouth line, and yes, ma'am, you are absolutely right. The first one, if you see, has got all the similarities with the the second one with the first one. You can see protruding ear, even the eyebrows, even the nasal line, mouth line, and even the jawline. Yes, correct. These two are of the same one. So morphological characteristics and anthropological characteristics are both are same. Shapes and the bone characteristics. Yes, absolutely right. And remember, all these have been captured by either cameras or surveillance cameras, basically, right? You look at this now. This is, that one has no other photo which is resembling. Look at this. Tell me now. They are taken at two different times. Tell me. It looks as if they belong to a student community, and if it is criminal data, one type. Let me complete it. If it is criminal data, one type of crime involved with these two photographs is or are examination fraud, meaning that I will give you the whole case study. this particular person has to go for the exam, he doesn't go, he makes this person to go. Makes this person to go to write the exam. So do you say they are the same person or a different person?
No.
Watch carefully. Are they the same persons?
Different
Same
person.
person, sir. Same person.
No.
Same person.
Watch carefully. Nose.
Same person, sir. Ear looks like same.
Same person,
Ears
sir.
looks like
Same
same.
person.
See
Different
the
person.
eyebrows. See the eyebrows.
Eyebrows.
Maybe
And
twins.
the eyebrows. Yes.
Eyebrows
See
almost
the
kind of
eyes
same.
manually. See the eyes.
Twins.
Ears also, sir.
Yeah, that's also correct. Nostrils. This is little bit down,
Yeah, nose a bit
right?
different. Nose side is a bit
You
different.
can see this, and you can see there is different.
Ears also.
Can you see this?
Yes.
And see
Yes,
this.
sir.
Same.
These two are of different persons, and there was an
Different person.
examination fraud involved in Madhya. Huh? It is different persons. Basically.
Yes, yes.
It's different, and you can see the overall shape also. It is different. If you take the ears, protrusion is all right, but you can see this nasal line, right? Nasal line, and even the eyebrows, they are a little bit different in arcs, basically. So there was an examination fraud. So this person had to write the exam, but he sends this particular person for the exam, basically in Madhya Pradesh. So that's how these photographs were taken, right? Anyway, we'll do analysis on that, question analysis. Now tell me, I want an answer for this question for which I won the prize in Delhi. Whoever gives the answer for this will have certain accolades. Okay, look at this now. Look at this. Just go down. Yeah, look at this. Look at this and look at this. Tell me, what do you say? Look at this. Yes. Look at these shapes. Look at these shapes. Look at these shapes.
I'll go to BNSIT and pay the fees and come back. I have class.
This one.
Afternoon for 1.5 hours, I'll go.
And this one.
Same picture, sir.
Same.
Picture.
Same picture, yes.
Same.
If you look at the previous example, they were looking similar. Both were similar, but both were belong to different people. Whereas these look, but this is fat, he is fat, and he is thin. Right. Now they are same person. Can you tell me, is there an age difference? Is there an age difference
Yes.
between this and this?
Yes.
How many
Yes,
years?
sir.
How many years?
Sir,
I
around
want a
10
prediction.
to 20 years. Between around 15 to 20, sir.
I want a prediction.
10
years.
to 15 years.
8 to 10
10
years.
to 15 years.
Near about 10.
10
Huh?
to
Around
15
10.
years.
Two, 1 to 2
Nearly
years.
How many of you
Around
say
10
it
to
is
15
5
years
years?
difference, sir.
How many of
5
you say it
years.
is 5 years?
5 years,
Less
sir.
than 5 years.
5
How
years.
5,
many
sir.
of you say, okay, let me see. How
5.
many of you say, yeah, Sundar Garu, sir, yeah. How many
5
of you
years.
say it is 5 years?
Less than
Sundar
5
Garu,
years.
sir, are you
Yes,
saying
sir.
5 years?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 5 years.
Less than 5 years.
5 years. 5
3
years.
years.
5
Yeah.
years.
Okay, I will ask one question. How many of you say less, 5 years or less? Please raise your hands. I can see by this one in
Less than 5
participants.
years.
How many of you say less than 5 years? It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Meghna, Vijaya, Vidya, Yeah, Daryl, Sudhina, and one more is on the website. Anurag, Dhayan, Arun Upadhyay, less than 5 years. Anybody less than 5 years? Okay. How many of you say it is 10 years or less, or 10 years? How many of you say 10 years? How many of you say there's a 10-year difference? There are many. Akshay, Ravi Prasad, Herlin, I can see
I'm saying 10
Shilpi,
years difference.
Nayana,
You record,
Charulata. Yeah, yeah. How many of you say 15 years? How many of you say it is 15 years? Right. Anyway, let's give you the correct answer. It is 7 years difference. This photograph was taken in 2017, this one, and this was taken in 2010. A 7-year difference. I think this was around 26 or 27, and this is around 34 years old. Now, how do you gauge that? How do you gauge this demographic information? Because there can be frauds which are committed 7 or 10 years before, and you catch the criminal 7 years or 10 years henceforth. Now, how do you gauge the age difference? So one way is the potent point here is body mass index, BMI. Yes, correct. Now, if you look for the first time, many of you, some of you gave the answer 15 years. It looks sometimes 15 years, but 15 years is too big a time, because if somebody is 25, 15 years, he or she becomes 40. So by the time you turn 40, there'll be a lot of textural changes on the skin, basically, right? Like on this particular part, on the skin color variations. So there can be a lot of small, I should not say wrinkle formations, but small lines being formed, but they are not. If you look at this, the texture formations on this and this both are same, basically, right? Only thing is the shape of this is more elliptical in nature, and the shape of this is more circular in nature. Now, how do you gauge this? What you can do is you can take certain lengths now, lengths, LENGTHs. Now, what are the lengths? Tip of the forehead to tip of the chin, basically. So this becomes one morphological length. Another one, tip of the right chin to the tip of the left chin for this particular person, not from my view, from this particular person. So this ratio, right? And for this particular image and for this one, basically, once again, you have to take the same thing, the ratio from here till here and from here till here. This will remain invariant for both, basically, right? So basically what happens is these morphological lengths have to be found out. Then you have to take the ratios between these morphological lengths using anthropometric characteristics. Now, what are anthropometric characteristics? They are all the bone characteristics. Here there is a bone, basically, forehead. Here there is a bone, basically. Similarly, here there is a bone. So you take those lengths, morphological lengths, the ratios, and call them as anthropometric measurement derived from the morphological length, basically. So like that, you can have many ratios possible. So if you have, you can put a threshold, right? I will talk about those ratios, and I will talk about those thresholds also. How do you put thresholds, right? And how do you say what can be the error margin, right? To say that two images or three or four, they are of the same person, or some of them are of the same person and some of them are lookalikes, basically. So remember, crimes, when they are committed very smartly. Like I showed you two examples there. So I agreed. This was a very good answer what you have given there. This one already I have shown you. Last one, let me commit on that also. Yeah, this is a very interesting one. Please see this. See this. And see this. This is not related to crime. This is these are images of one scientist who is working in a forensic science laboratory. Now he is a elderly guy. I'm talking about this. Now, what do you say about this? These two. See carefully. Tell me what answer you have. This.
Both are
What is
same,
the
sir?
answer? It is
Sir,
same
both are-
person. Same person. How do you
Same
say? Who
person.
said that? The same person. I want a justification. Manual justification first.
Sir, the
Manual justification.
eyebrow and the ear.
Eyebrow. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Eyebrow, ear.
Ears. Right. Eye also. Right.
Yes,
Curvature.
Eye.
Eyes. What
Nasal
else?
line also, sir.
Nasal line also is there. Yes. Right.
right.
You can see this nasal line.
Hello.
This coming out. And
eyebrow and
this is absolutely right. Absolutely right. You are given the correct answer. Right. Good. So this is how you make a manual analysis of any data. Now here I have
अरे कल
taken
अभिनव सर
facial
ने बोला था
data.
ना, हमने तो वो नोट ही नहीं किया था कि सर्वर हटा दिया है पूरी तरह
No.
से। तो कल अभिनव सर ने बोला
Right.
नहीं सर्वर
Right.
मिसिंग है।
So here
एक
I
नीचे
have
वो
done and I
जो
took certain
सेंटर में
basic
जो था
features
सेंटर पेज
and I'm
बना
trying to
रहेगा
find out whether the same
तीन वो
person
मैंने
or they are
दूरी करवा
lookalike.
दिया सबके लिए।
Now let us come to the morphological and anthropological characteristics there. Okay. So I'll just go there now. Right. So these are all different possibilities.
यार नहीं वो नहीं ये
Right.
बड़ा मुश्किल से ये हुआ है। वो 25 का रिस्ट्रिक्शन है ना, 25 का होगा वहाँ पे वो
All possibilities. So these are all certain clinical names, right? Igdocanthion is a landmark towards the middle side of the eye at intersection of lower and upper eyelid margins. So you can use certain micro features also.
2 साल का ही है।
Right. Anyway, this has been implemented in the lens, right? The lens what we take. So these are all the different features what we have in face recognition. So the endpoints. Anyway, this I'll be talking about tomorrow, right? In biometrics. Now let us come to morphometry. What is morphometry basically? So we have got
DSC बोल रहे हैं कि हमारा बंदा जितना टाइम यहाँ रहेगा उतना
maximum
ज़्यादा
face height is one,
नहीं
right?
डलवाए कि ये
Maximum
जरूर
face
हमारा
width is
बंदा
another
यहाँ
one,
ताकि
basically,
सेंटर
right?
शट डाउन करके वो
Face
सारे
width at eye line, basically. Face width at nasal line. So these are all
ये चाह रहे थे
morphometric
कि हाँ ये
measurements, basically.
बिल्कुल
Face width at mouth line.
एक बंदा तो ये
Inter
चाह रहे थे
distance
कि
of
3 साल
irises at eye line. So all these.
इनफैक्ट ये
And they are
सारा ही
given
चाह रहे थे
some
3 साल
special
है, लेकिन
names
सबों ने
because we'll be taking the
कंप्यूटर
ratios of this. Right.
पता कहाँ
All.
एडजस्ट किया 25
So
को
you can
चार को
see the indices now, the ratios. Face ratio 1. Face
रेंज
ratio
बहुत
1
ज्यादा
is
चल
A by B. Right? These have been defined. Maximum face height divided by maximum face width and corresponding point. So from which point you are taking the width, okay, on the
ये
vertical
तो
line.
अभी
So
अभी
if you
पता
take a
नहीं कि
face
अभी
height,
पहले ये
from which point basically? I'll show you that.
एक्चुअली पहले
I'll
ये
show
वाला
you the
क्लियर हो जाए ना,
practical example.
ये क्लियर हो जाएगा तो फिर ये
Please
सब
don't
डिस्कस
talk there.
करेंगे।
Yes, please. Somebody is talking on the phone.
Yes. Can you?
Yes, please. Right. I'll show you here. So I take one image. So you can see the length now here, right? Between the two coordinates, between this coordinate and between this coordinate. So it is quantified in total number of pixels basically, right? Or you can quantify it as the difference between these coordinates, the Euclidean distance, this particular one, right? You saw it now, one particular length. Now let me take another one. I will just note the values of that. I will take this. You can see the difference here, right, in the lens. So it is nowhere close. So the lens are unique for the people. Let us see other ratios, what really happens. I will take one more. That particular, you can take the center of the nose as the point, right? With respect to which you are taking this length. In that morphometric, okay, the reference point. Even here, this is for the first line, the second line. Let us see the ratio. You can see it is 176. So what does it mean? The vertical line and the horizontal line, the ratio values are different. The length values are different. The vertical line length was, let us check it, how much it was. It was 237.103, whereas the horizontal is 176.026. Now, if you take this ratio, this divided by this, and for the second image, this one, and you have to once again find the horizontal ratio also for the second image. Let us check it, what happens. Right, let us see. Yeah, you can see the difference. This is the vertical for the first one, vertical for the second one, horizontal for the first one, horizontal for the second one. So this divided by this divided by this will remain unique. Now let us watch now. Let us extend this. Let us extend this. The name of this software is Fiji software. So please download it before you come day after tomorrow, right? For the hands-on. Okay, Fiji software, FIJI. Please download it. Right. Let us look at this now. I am very much interested in this, right? You can see the ratios there. Can you see the difference? Right. How much difference is there? 435 by 397, 323 by 313, basically. Right. Is there a difference? This is 435.029 is the vertical. This is the horizontal. This is the vertical. This is the horizontal. So if you see the images, both look to be of the same person. Is it not? Let me show it to you. If you look at the images, both look to be of the same person, but the ratios are different, right? This one, if you see, one second, this one, the look seems to be similar to this. Am I right? It's almost similar looks, right? But if you take the postures, from postures you can find both are different, right? The width of this face. So when you look at for the first time, it looks to be belong to the same person, but the ratios clearly tell they are belonging to different persons. You can see the ratios, this one and this one, basically, right? There's a difference there. So they are of different people. Anyway, they are of different people if you look for some time. But when you look, if you look at both the images suddenly, you may think that it belongs to the same person, basically. But they are lookalikes. So these are called lookalike objects. This and this. Let us see one more example. I will take this and this, basically, right? This and this. Let us see here what happens. These are all celebrity pictures what we used first when we were doing the project. Is it stored there? Right, stored. I have a database there. Is it stored there? Right, stored. Is it stored there? Right, it is stored. Right. Second one. Control M. Is it stored there? Right, it is stored. You can see the ratios. Once again, these two are different. Right. I think for the last one, I made a mistake. It was 435. This was of the same person, I think. I don't remember. For the last one, this and this ratio 435 by 323, 397. Let us look at the images. Now I have forgotten whether they are lookalikes or of the same person. This one and this one. I think, yeah, I made a small mistake here. Yeah, I did it correctly. While storing the values, I did one small mistake. That is vertical and this was horizontal, I think. Vertical and horizontal. So these belong to the same person approximately. If you see the threshold also, yeah, it's approximately same, these two. Whereas these two are totally different. If you take this and this, the second part. I made a small mistake while talking here. So this was vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal. If you take this is more and this is less. This is more here. This is lesser. This is vertical, vertical. But here this is more and this is less. So yeah, it's correct. So if you see the logical conclusion here is these two are of the same person, but these two are of different persons, basically. Right. Right, so you can make certain logical conclusions by looking at certain ratios. Now let me go back at those ratios basically, right? And then we will continue. Yeah, so that's what I said here. Maximum face height and maximum face width with corresponding point. That point is basically I'm taking center of the nose. And this ratio I'm taking, this is basically the first two morphometric lengths I'm taking, right? So then I'm taking the ratios here. Face ratio 1, A by B. So you have seen that there. Similarly, face ratio 2, you can go for the second ratio also. That is, I think between face width at eye line and face width at nasal line basically. So the second ratio there. So like that, you have got all the ratios here: A by B, G by F, C by F, C by J, B by H. So all these ratios, okay, they out of these ratios, if more than 95% of the ratios or more than 99% of the ratios, if they remain invariant, right, then the images belong to different people basically. That's called a statistical significance, right? So 95% or 99% if they are unique, right? So that is a jurisdiction what we have for doing a facial analysis here, right? So these were some of the pictures what we took. If you have any questions, you can ask me, right? Are we going to stop here? Yeah, Sharmila, somebody has raised a hand. Yes, please. So please download the software which is called the Fiji software. Fiji, right? You will get it on the net, and I will complete this. I'll show the whole experiment, and then I'll ask you to do one of them. That is day after tomorrow. You will be given 45 minutes time, and could be I will talk to the coordinators. You will have certain accolades for this. Last time when we organized a workshop, we had pricings as certificates only. But let me see if it is possible. If it is possible only, so that will be day after tomorrow, right? So please download the software, Fiji software, right? The other part of the experiment is almost same, but at the end we need to apply the statistical significances over all these ratios. So I will pass these handouts also. You can have it with them, because without that you cannot do it, right? Because we are doing it online, and then we will go ahead. Any questions here? Right. Right. Are we stopping here?
Yes, few participants have raised their hand. If you have question, please ask.
Yeah.
Arun Upadhyay.
Anybody?
Sauvik. Yeah.
No, ma'am. So I raised a hand because sir asked a question on age.
Okay. Okay, sir.
What is that? It's okay. Right.
And about
So
that
one,
software, it is already mailed in a WhatsApp. In a WhatsApp group, it is shared. Fiji software you are supposed to download.
yeah,
It is
please
mentioned.
download
Yeah.
that.
Sir,
Yeah.
any version specification is there?
No. That's a recent one. What is there? What I had downloaded. What
Okay,
I had
sir.
downloaded. Right. And I will pass these handouts also to them. So let them go through it whole thing. And
Sure.
then, because tomorrow I'll be doing the biometric part, so certain algorithms I'll be telling, and that is on recognition, face recognition, fingerprint recognition, and then we will end with what we have done today, the analysis. So this is basically analysis, right, which gives better results in terms of accuracies, because
Sure.
many times it has been seen all the recognition experiments done in computer forensics, they have certain limitations on accuracies basically, right? So even in the second talk he was mentioning, sometimes if the evidences go right, the problem is solved, but if you don't get clear images, then the problem comes. So can we have certain ratios? So ratios are basically macro properties, they're not micro properties. So macro and micro, which works for macroeconomics, microeconomics, basically like that. So we'll continue with this, perhaps, right?
Yes, sir. So if no questions, I think we can wrap this session here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Shrikant sir, for a wonderful session. So we are looking forward for more such a session in coming days.
Tomorrow
Thank you.
morning 9:30, right?
Yeah.
9:30. Right.
Yes, sir. Tomorrow morning 9:30 your session followed by Akshay's session.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Done.
And for participants of
Attendance has not been, the link has not been shared.
ma'am, that session 7 link I have shared. No, that is only link.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So now feedback link will be shared, and tomorrow session joining link will be shared shortly. Thank you. I think all participants can leave the session now and join back tomorrow morning at 9:30. Thank you.
Thank you.